go and find Mort.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Always on time, eh, Conrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Mort, pull yourself together.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
Mutiny? Who would attempt a mutiny here in the warp?
Lunatics, fools, heretics. This ship houses thousands upon thousands of people. Pernicious thoughts and warp-induced delusions could have tainted any one of them. It is a difficult notion to accept, but such risks are inescapable. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the Navigator Sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psyker powers.
Then it's settled. Find Edelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
In whatever state? What does that mean?
We are in the warp. Considering the attack, there could be a disruption in the Gellerfield and the infiltration of malevolent forces onto the decks. Psychers can react to such things in the most unpredictable ways.
Enough! Master of Whispers, you must not allow my heir to turn into a mindless mutant and to perish under Enforcer fire. Do whatever it takes to bring Edelthrad back to me.
I shall do everything in my power.
Not everything in your power. You will do as I say. I'll have your heads if you fail. Is that clear? Then move out. Mort, come.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear.
I shall make do lead the way.
Of course you will. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant.
Something hits you hard with a sharp crackle, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain.
You, Conrad.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Voidbear, you two-faced scum. You are the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the Warrant Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power, the sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates to the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Why are you doing this?
Why? Because I am following an order. What is happening on this ship right now has been in the making for a very long time. All that remains is to obtain what my master sent me for. The Warrant of Trade.
What is it in bread? Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel?
On the contrary, the Warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Fon Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for?
What sorry, pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy, you sordid, wretched piece of grox?
Wretched? What do you know about wretchedness? Theodora's cur! Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind. Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench Fon Valencius watch as I sacrifice her entire dynasty and commit their fate to the gods. And you will be the instrument by which I will accomplish this righteous act.
The blade flashes in the dim light, and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment, you feel nauseous, your head is spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate. Go to the gate. Go to the gate.
Fight the voice in your head. Get out. I'm not your puppet.
The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step toward the gates looming in the center of the chamber. In the gateway arch you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises.
Examine the device.
You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of architect relic. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Voidbear wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind.
Look for anything that could be used as a weapon.
You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition, nary a broken panel or a protruding piece of rebar in sight.
Examine the sentinel.
The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread, and it has metal hinges in place of the standard joints. It seems that the creators of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that the service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automatons.
Place your hand in the sentinel's maw.
The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath, maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humus. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
Who is this?
Genetic code identified. Child of House von Valancius. Do you require assistance?
You hear a displeased grunt in your mind, as if the lurking entity has sensed something that is not to its liking.
Yes, Sentinel. Traitors threaten my life and the safety of the Warrant.
Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Well, there is still another way.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Are you the Warrant Sentinel?
Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Vox faster! Restore communication with the Navigator Sanctum! I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once! I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols two-way connection.
I need a weapon. I'm utterly defenseless.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
Lead me away from here.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
As the game story unfolds, you will see notifications at the top of the screen indicating the status of the current objective. So this is the journal, the rumors and orders, rumors and contract sections also contain important information. You will learn more about them later. Alright, we need to seal the chamber.
Run, fools, or fall!
Yeah.
Master, whatever are you doing in the Warrant Chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me, what is the meaning of this?
Conrad Voidbear is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somehow and brought me here.
What?
He intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of that plan.
Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
Voidgear openly admitted that he is the mastermind behind the mutiny.
Saint's blood! And it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
While fighting, your character can lose some of their wounds. Your character has suffered an injury after being attacked by Conrad. This happens when a character receives damage that exceeds 50% of their maximum wounds within one round. The exact percentage of wounds a character must lose for this to happen may vary depending on the difficulty of the game you choose. Injuries reduce the character's resolve. When a character initially suffers an injury, it is considered a fresh injury during the first 3 rounds. Once 3 rounds have passed, a fresh injury becomes an old injury. A fresh injury can be healed using a medikit without passing any skill tests. Old injuries can be healed with a medikit, but they require the character administering the treatment to pass a medikit skill test to succeed. Use medikits to restore wounds and heal injuries. Note that when a character loses all their wounds, they fall unconscious. So unconscious. The character can, when wounds reduce to 0, the characters can no longer participate in combat. They will regain consciousness after the battle and receive a trauma. Which can be healed by resting on the ship or in certain other places suitable for rest. Trauma. If a character who has received 3 or more injuries does not heal them in time with a medikit, the injuries will become traumas. The number of injuries depend on difficulties. Traumas reduce a character's resolve and also inflicts an additional negative effect, which depends on the specifics of a particular trauma. Traumas can only be removed and fully healed in the rogue trader's private quarters on the void ship. Resolve reduces the momentum gain. Once the combat is over, the wounds of all party members are replenished automatically, but any injuries that may have sustained remain. Those can be healed with a medikit. Medikits can only be used by characters who have the field medic feature, base skills, Medicae, or have taken Medicae skills advancement at least once. Whenever a character uses a medikit in battle, a Medicae skill test determines the number of wounds. Abelard can heal. Okay, so Abelard can heal. Oh, fuck. Great. Now,
I won't tolerate weakness.
Arm yourself. Our enemies may find us at any moment.
alright. To equip a new weapon, drag. Yep. You can switch between party members. Alright.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the Navigator and the Master Helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the Navigator Sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
How did you find me?
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
I think the Warrant Sentinel may have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warrant Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort. The Warrant Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
What exactly has gone wrong with the translation?
I am no helmsman, or God Emperor preserve me, navigator. However, I've spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and I know that portents such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Gellerfield has faltered. Perhaps the Navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak. If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the war. Naturally, we would likely not have long to live in that scenario. But I will not resign myself to such an outcome just yet.
What can we expect to find in a Navigator's Sanctum?
During warp transit, the Sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in traversing the Empyrean. And for good reason. For the Navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the Sanctum must be bathed in the energies of the Immaterium. Only a Navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death.
I heard one of Theodora's Voxcasts.
Lady Theodora's. Which one? The last one I received was about the Navigator Sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well, and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course.
A Navigator Sanctum. Very well. Will you lead the way?
Absolutely. Let us proceed.
To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor! Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared!
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
Out of my surrender to the dark powers!
Combat begins. Yep, we know that. So I want you to come here, and you all the way here. The combat abilities of characters differ depending on their archetypes. Available abilities are located at the bottom. Yes, we know that. Before the ability is used, you will get to review its estimated outcome while hovering your cursor over a character or an area of your choosing. You will also see the ability's area of effect. During adventures, your characters will gain new abilities. Okay. So, we're gonna try this burst. Woohoo! Nice.
Already done.
And we come here. We're gonna kill this guy. Nice. Dodge.
Crush the feeble.
Parry. Your new companion is a warrior. Abelard specializes in melee combat and drawing the enemy's attacks. Charge is a unique warrior ability that works only when they are using a melee weapon and is not considered an attack action. Use charge to close the distance between you and the enemy and deal damage. Here we charge. Now the charge can only be used if the character is 2 or more cells away. This character is using a melee weapon. Melee attacks require the character to be adjacent to the enemy. To make a melee attack, right click. Unlike single shots, melee attacks hit automatically with no need for a roll. The enemy will try to dodge and parry the attacks if they are using a melee weapon of their own. Melee weapons can be used to make area attacks. Damage dealt by melee weapons depend on the weapon's parameters and the attacker's